far bigger than this room. You have experienced this, and thousands of other people have experienced this. And by defining it and sharing it with the world, you can solve the problem. Until you've defined the problem, you cannot solve the problem. And so that's one of my gifts, is being able to somewhat clinically analyze a problem from all angles and then say, well, we stand some chance of success here, or let's just have a blast. And 90% of my life is actually now just saying, well, let's have a blast, because life's too short to worry too much about everything. So, things happen as you expect them. Now, this is a very important point, because people, we've all now agreed that things actually do happen the way we expect them. But people see us, creatives, as radically pioneers, frontiersmen, because our work is radically different. But I've been working on something for 10 years. The outcome is expected. What you do, somebody else will see as incredibly creative, but the outcome is expected. So, that is one of those misunderstandings in the world that's very important to clear up. The fact that things do happen as we expect them also means that we are closed. And we will learn nothing new. Because we are bound by our expectation of things. And so, are we baking a cake following a recipe, or are we baking a cake with a blindfold, responding to the smell of everything in the fridge? And that's the important barrier to break. Your unexpected creative piece is what you're looking for as a creative. And then, yes, you can work within the theme of your unexpected creative piece. But if everything in your life is meeting your expectation, and you don't have any disasters, without disasters you won't have breakthroughs. And that's very important. This talk is very much about language, and language contains all knowledge. And when people say to me, oh, but I haven't had an education, you've had so many privileges. Once I turned to someone, I said, I've had no education. And they nearly fell over. And in fact, it was you, Cara. I was challenging Karen why I was excluded from the opportunity of going to Robben Island on an education. And Karen said, but you had the opportunity to develop visual literacy and all this. And I said, define the opportunity I've had, because I've had none. And as a result of that conversation of standing up and saying, I deserve opportunity, that got me actually the opportunity, because she scratched her head and said, oh, well, I never knew that. Okay, we'll speak and maybe we can get you onto the tour. And I got to go on the tour. So, language contains all knowledge. The fact that we speak a language is our education. If you think long enough about a word and all its meanings, you will understand everything. For instance, we do not have a concept of Schadenfreude in English, delight when somebody else falls down. Therefore, we are slightly nicer than Germans, because we just don't have the concept. But unfortunately, the Germans are now teaching us the word Schadenfreude, and we're becoming a little nasty. But people delight in being nasty because it's a global phenomenon. So I'm saying that even in a vacuum, your mind can progress infinitum, provided the path has become obvious before isolation. So the real task is to understand your path. You were saying you realized in pottery class that this was more than a hobby. That was your awakening upon your path. Tell us your name. Yashin, and your surname. And how can they Google you?
If you type in my name and surname, you can find me all over the internet.
Fantastic. One of our rising stars of the design world. You are here means you are not somewhere else. Here and somewhere else. Very, very important to understand. Very few people are ever here when they are creating. Now, if you're following a recipe, chances are you are somewhere else. I have audiobooks on cassette tape, and I put it in and I press play. And that's when I'm sieving glaze. When I'm sieving glaze, I am somewhere else. It's a fact of life that I have to sieve the glaze. It is a mundane task. I can listen to a book. I cannot write the poetry on my bowls with a story playing in the background. It's just impossible. I have to go and I have to stop the story. So in your daily tasks, you have to evaluate, when I am doing this, could I be listening to a story? If you could be listening to a story, you are not at your high point. You are not the best possible person you could be. As creatives, we sacrifice wealth for excellence. We want to be the best possible person we could be. And there's a sacrifice that comes with that, but there's a reward that comes with it. So, are you here or are you somewhere else? And you have to ask yourself that in your creative process. Evaluate every step you take, not through the lens of self-doubt, but through the keyhole of inevitable success. Now, interestingly enough, I've used the word lens and keyhole. A lens is a distortion. If you hold a lens there and you look at the world will be upside down. If you look through a keyhole, usually you will see a wonderland on the other side. And it might be a locked